Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a matchup we have here in the third round of the 2018 Gibraltar Darts Trophy. We introduce to the stage a former European Championship, UK Open and World Cup of Darts champion, the two-time champion of the world, Jackpot Adrian Lewis! We now introduce a former Premier League, World Match Play and PDC Masters champion, two times the UK Open champion, two times the World Grand Prix champion, the Machine, James Wade!
Well, between them, these two players, Adrian Lewis and James Wade, have collected in their illustrious careers no fewer than 12 major titles. Adrian Lewis, a two-time world champion in back-to-back years, 2011 and 2012, and a multiple major winner in the shape of James Wade as well. They come together once again. Two players who know each other inside out for a place for the right to advance to the quarter-finals of the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. And just when the Tercentenary Sports Hall was just beginning to simmer down and draw its collective breath after that epic between Joe Cullen and Paul Nicholson, Dan Dawson, we go again once more for what could be an absolute belter in the afternoon session.
Yeah, completely. And one of the weird things about this event is, I know the crowd is tiny compared to the other European Tour ones, but in games like that, which are just absorbing, tense, high-quality affairs, everybody is gripped. There was a woman at the end there where Joe Cullen missed a match dot. You heard the gasp audibly in the hall here. Unbelievably tense stuff. And Paul Nicholson, the asset, has found himself in a quarter-final for the first time in years in a ranking event. This tournament...
First leg is James to throw first. Game on.
This tournament has a history of rejuvenating players' careers. It happened to Michael Smith when he won it here last year after his awful year, and then went on and became the Premier League runner-up. It happened to James Wade when he won here a few years ago, his first win in a long while, and he then went on to win the Masters. It may be somebody from this section of the draw here, with Adrian Lewis, who's obviously slipped down the rankings, James Wade, who is in another period where he hasn't won a title for more than a year, Peter Wright, who hasn't won a title this year. In fact, he hasn't won since the German Darts Masters. It may be somebody from this section of the draw who uses this as a platform to go and launch an assault on the big tournaments. Or it could be Paul Nicholson. Or it could be Michael van Gogh winning his 25th Euro Tour. Who knows? But there's stories here in Gibraltar.
96.
Waiting to be told, waiting to be written. Now, sometimes we do look at the previous head-to-head standings when we start out or embark on a particular
125.
match. In the case of these two players, you look at it, you think, well, what can we read into that, if anything? 52 competitive meetings, I think it is. 3 of them draws. They have, of course, met in the Premier League circuit, but it's Wade who just about shaved it. 29 plays 20. First meeting this year. They did meet 3 times last year, a couple of meetings in the Premier League. Wade winning both of those by 7 legs to 4, and it was 100. Lewis who came out on top when they met at the UK Open. The last 64, they had that situation where they met very early on in the FA Cup of Darts, and Lewis came out on top 10-8.
Double 12 for 6 perfect darts.
132.
Very nearly 180 followed by 144
76.
for Adrian Lewis.
As it is, Wade may well steal this anyway with 76. Double 80 once. And that has set the tone very nicely indeed, hasn't it? Brilliant stuff from both. James Wade takes the opener.
Well, Adrian Lewis nearly throwing in a couple of those explosive Adrian Lewis visits, and then James Wade taking out a very Wadey checkout. These guys, from the very word go, are producing the stuff which has made them famous and rich and vastly successful.
44.
Well, Adrian Lewis has only lost 2 legs in his opening 2 matches here this weekend, both of them against Mensur Suljovic in his 6-2 win yesterday. He had a 6-0 win. Oh, so it's 6-3, sorry. Anyway, you get the point. It was 6-0 against Clayton Otten in the first round. 3 legs dropped yesterday. A very assured start by Adrian Lewis, which is something he desperately needed on the European Tour stage this year.
Yeah, only 3 legs won by Mensur, despite the fact Mensur averaged 99 in that game. Adrian Lewis held him off with some very impressive finishing.
140.
And he looks at it. I know he's a leg down, but he does look in the mood, Adrian Lewis. He's looked in the mood all weekend. He looks very happy and relaxed. He's laughing and joking in the practice room.
85.
It's quite a difference from the start of this year, when he admits he was feeling the pressure. You know, he hadn't been picked for the Premier League. He'd had that early exit from the World Championship. He'd slipped down the rankings. It's a position that Adrian Lewis has not been used to.
And on the flip side, James Wade had to work very hard for his passage into the last 16.
94. Adrian Uruguay, 96.
Lewis in good shape in this second leg, though. 6-5 win for James Wade yesterday against Ross Smith.
56.
Winning the final 3 legs to advance.
Still trying to work out what Wade was doing playing on the bullseye just there. Particularly when he can chuck him in the trebles like that.
40.
Well, he's back on 50 again. He might have to go for it if he gets the chance, but he won't.
Adrian Lewis. The leg is James to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, there were moments yesterday where James Wade was typically James Wade. Ross Smith had a 13-dart break to establish a 3-2 lead, and guess what? Wade hit back with a 13-dart break of his own. It was that sort of encounter.
Yeah, they both won with lower averages yesterday. Even Adrian Lewis beat Mensur with a 95.5 average to Mensur's almost 99. James Wade only averaged 85.5 to Ross Smith, who was close to 89. But Wade was just doing the important things at the important times, including
140.
a very solid last leg.
Winner of this to face our winner in the final match of the afternoon session, coming right up, Peter Wright against Chris Dobie,
140.
the 8th match in the last 16. The assignments won't get any easier.
60.
Signs that James Wade is just treading water a little bit here. Adrian Lewis should get down to a finish first on the Wade throw.
And will.
85.
Not quite as good as he would have liked.
But Wade responding in kind here.
140. Adrian Uruguay, 136.
Well, threatened the 144 in the first leg. Threatening the 136 here. Threatening it.
120.
And almost pulling it off.
James Uruguay, 104.
Well, Wade, this has to go, otherwise Lewis should pounce for a 2-1 lead. And it ain't going to go.
48. Adrian Uruguay, 16.
For the first break of the match,
on the
and
third
Adrian
leg,
Lewis
Adrian
secures
Lewis.
it.
All leg is Adrian to throw first.
8 for a 2-1 lead. Good standard set so far by these two, especially Lewis.
Well, today may turn out to be a really significant day in the
140.
long and illustrious and spectacular career of Adrian Lewis. It may really underline his return to
140.
title-winning ways in the PDC after more than a year of waiting. It didn't start very well, though, because he managed to lock himself in his own bathroom in the hotel. Had to dig out some tweezers from his wash bag and pick the lock
96.
after half an hour trapped in the toilet.
Safe breaker.
Wow. His talents are not just limited to this fine sport, it would appear.
100.
That would have been one of the most bizarre withdrawals from a European or any sort of darts tournament.
Yeah, you're getting into Richie Burnett territory there, aren't you? If you get timed out because you managed to lock yourself in the bog.
98.
Lewis switching to the 18s and back to make sure he leaves a finish. Wade should leave a finish. Going to leave a pretty good one, it would look like.
140. Adrian 167.
167 for Lewis, 121 for James Wade. So Wade will get a go at that 121 to break back immediately.
83. James require 121.
Yes.
Lovely first dart. Bullseye.
96. Adrian require 84.
Will Wade get the chance to level this match at 2 apiece, or will Adrian Lewis find double 12? Will he find double 6 instead?
78.
No, he will not.
James require 25.
Trusty, reliable, double 10.
Cash on the fourth leg. James Wade. Fifth leg is James to throw first. Game on.
It is a break back immediately, not letting Jackpot get too far away from him.
Well, Adrian Lewis made the semi-finals of the inaugural Gibraltar Darts Trophy in 2013.
180.
The year he was on the receiving end of that 9-dart leg by Ross Smith. He went on to make the semi-finals. He lost to his namesake Jamie Lewis, 6-5 in that one. He made the quarters a year later.
57.
But nothing of note since then. Didn't play here in 2015. Early exit in 2016. Didn't qualify last year either.
140.
Oh, actually, he did qualify, but he withdrew. I should just correct myself.
Yes.
177.
But he wasn't here.
177 from Lewis, but Wade potentially running away with this leg because this is a magnificent leg of darts.
127.
That gets Wade down to a very simple 2-dart checkout, or at least in theory, of 54.
81. James require 54.
What a leg. Great stats for James Wade.
Cash on the
Lovely
fifth leg.
finishing from James Wade as well. 3 from 4.
Game on.
Both men averaging around about the 105 mark right now. This is two of the most decorated players in darts going head-to-head
134.
and putting on a show. That last leg won in 11 darts. In fact, the last 3 legs, 13, 14, 11.
And this will do his average the world of good as well.
108.
Second 180 of the match for James Wade. Lewis comes again. Brilliant. It's just brilliant. It's really warming up now.
4 maximums, a 177 and a 168 between them. Only 4 perfect darts to start this leg from James Wade. Wade on 181. Lewis looking to set it up from 187. He's going to do it magnificently.
123.
Just a little slip.
Just the wrong side of the wire, but still in good shape for a hold of throw. And it's a hold of throw that he can't afford to squander either, because Wade is coming back again.
130. Adrian requires 64.
54 left after 9 in the last leg. 51 left after 9 in this one. But he may not get a go at it this time. What does he want, 80? He wants tops. And he pins Cox for a 12-dart response.
Yeah, just lost his rhythm momentarily when he had to check where the first dart had landed, but he quickly got back on track. What a leg that was as well.
60.
Frightening
110 average, 111 average for Lewis, 110 for James Wade. It is that good. It's breaking the scoreboard.
100.
Dipped a little bit for Wade with that visit of 60, but it is still magnificent stuff from the pair of these. Best we've seen so far this weekend was 108 average from Joe Cullen in his opening game yesterday.
135.
We'll not get any more chances to better that this weekend because Paul Nicholson has produced a shock victory this afternoon. And who is going to win this one? Because I've got no idea. They're both playing magnificent.
100.
Well, they're clearly bringing the best out of each other on this Sunday afternoon session. It's another gripping encounter. The fans who have turned up today have had a real
57.
treat, really got the money's worth out of this session. It has been high-octane stuff at times. It's been very, very absorbing. It's been a high standard pretty much throughout.
131.
Hang on, doesn't that monkey have a Team Lewis and a Team Wade shirt?
Yeah, so why has he sided
108.
in the way that he has? Well, he may well be going back the other way in a minute because James Wade is back on top in this particular leg. Lewis surely not on 170. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. Ooh.
98.
Well, keeps hinting that he's going to take out one of these enormous finishers, Adrian Lewis, but he might have to take one out. 12s. Good marker.
45.
Does not use it.
Adrian 72.
And this is for a break of throw for Adrian Lewis.
12s. Poor marker.
Doesn't
need one.
Adrian Lewis. I think it's Adrian to throw first.
Wow.
Game on.
Wade is furious with himself there. You can see his reaction. He is livid.
Well, when you've got two guys averaging around about the 107, 108 mark, it only takes one little mistake like that and the other guy will pounce.
He's still barking at himself there, James Wade, in the background, just over Lewis's shoulder. You can see him admonishing himself, ticking himself off, giving himself a real dressing down. Needs to stay focused here, James Wade. Can't afford to let Lewis open up a two-leg lead, but he may well do so on the Lewis throw. And it's only 45 as well for James Wade to start things off. That last visit has clearly rattled James Wade.
$100.
Lewis, though, hasn't really built too much on that, just a ton.
Well, we saw it in the very first Euro Tour of the year,
100.
where James Wade was playing magnificently right the way through the weekend. 105 average against Michael Smith, 99 against Mervyn King. He'd already seen off Jelle Klaassen and Steve Beaton. And then he ran up against Peter Wright, and he averaged 99 again, was playing fantastically. He did not miss a dart at double in that semi-final, but he was beaten 7-4 because Peter Wright was excellent. On the European Tour, we've seen some really good stuff. The sort of stuff that looks like James Wade could add to the 2 Euro Tour titles that he's got. And yet, somebody's done something incredible to stop him. And Adrian Lewis might be doing something like that here, because he's left another one of these big combination finishes that he's been threatening to take out. And if he does take this one out, he opens up a 2-leg advantage. But Wade is going to be there or thereabouts.
100.
Well, by the high standards, or by comparison to the high standards these two have set, this is a little bit of a dip as far as the scoring is concerned, but Lewis is on course for this 156, or at least he was.
116.
But back on track with that final dart to get himself down to tops. Will he get the chance? You feel this has to go, otherwise this could be a real game changer.
It is time, James, for some wading.
98.
But he cannot produce it.
40.
A missed start at double 18 to level the match. Lewis pounces once again.
I think it's James to throw first. Game on.
And there is daylight between the two of them now.
He was in this position against Ross Smith, and he won it 6-5 from 5-3 down, James Wade.
140.
But doing it against Ross Smith, who was averaging in the high 80s, and doing it against Adrian Lewis, a two-time world champion, averaging more than 105, two very different propositions.
131.
One he may pull off nevertheless.
140.
Back-to-back ton 40s for James Wade, just to settle him down. That last leg, he didn't really get off to a flyer. I think he was still bothered about the way the previous leg had finished. Lewis momentarily losing his way here. 85 on the board. Well, it's all about bite-sized chunks here for James Wade. First and foremost, he has to hold his throw, and he's going the right way about it, although he could do with the treble here.
60.
We said anybody who came through this quarter of the draw with Lewis, Wade, Peter Wright, Mervyn King, whoever comes through that quarter is going to have to be playing really, really well, but we did not know how well or how well the other guys who don't make it out the quarter are playing.
161.
Lewis is back there again, isn't he? Lurking with intent in the shadows once more. James Wade brutally aware of what's going on around him.
The 144 didn't go. The 136 didn't go. Neither did the 167, the 170, the 156. The 145 might. The 145 might.
131. Change requires 61.
Well, that would have taken everyone's breath away had that one been pinned for the match. Tops for Wade. Oh, there is life in James Wade yet. He has dodged a bullet. Adrian Lewis had a match start, didn't take it. Wade trims the gap to 5-4, but Lewis throwing first here for the match. What a match this is.
106 averages the pair. Phenomenal. World-class darts from these guys. There you go, 107 for 80 at the minute, 105 for James Wade, and that is climbing.
140.
Enormous leg. Enormous leg in the context of this tournament, because you know that either one of these guys is quite capable of blasting their way through the final session and claiming the title, no matter who they are up against. They might have to beat the world number 2, Peter Wright. Then they might have to beat the Welsh number 1, Gerwyn Price. Then they might have to beat the world number 1, Michael van Gerwen. But we know these two are capable of doing it.
And James Wade is certainly capable of forcing a deciding leg here, although Adrian Lewis would prefer not to have the agony of a decider.
140.
Wade has the advantage. Pursed lips once again for James Wade.
100.
Gets the ton.
We've not seen a ton plus checkout in this game. Adrian Lewis keeps threatening to take out enormous ones. James Wade has missed ball for a 1-2-1 already in this match. 32 scored. Great last start gets him to a finish.
121.
And he's on a big finish again. Will he get the chance? 101 for Wade, treble 17. Leaves the bullseye. And we are into a decider. And you have to say, it's the sort of match that warrants a decider. A brilliant response by James Wade to find the breakthrough, to find the break back in leg 10. And we are collectively shaking our heads in disbelief in the commentary booth here, Dan.
James Wade, absolutely unreal stuff from the machine. 12 darters a break in the 10th leg of a match against a man averaging 106 almost. Not over. Do not write off Adrian Lewis.
140.
He will come again, and he has come again. Will we have a situation like the previous match where both players had matched darts? It could well be the case once more. I wouldn't be too surprised.
Well, with the way they're finishing, though, I mean, 56% for James Wade, 46% for Adrian Lewis. If they're getting chances, a lot of the time, they are going.
93.
Whoever gets first to a double, that might be that. And it won't matter that the other guy is averaging way, way over a ton.
55.
It may well be advantage Lewis now if he can post something significant here. Wade just losing his way at the worst possible moment there, still on 207. And Lewis should get down to a finish first now, and he will do.
140.
And once more, it's a A three-figure finish potentially for Adrian Lewis. What has Wade got in response here?
85.
Well, it could have been better, but 1-2-2. It's okay.
Either of these goes, it's the biggest check out of the match. 1-2-8 will not. Adrian Lewis so frustratingly unable to take out any of the big finishes that have been presented to him.
Treble 18. Would have left the bull. Not to be.
90.
And having taken the bull out in the previous leg, he may well have fancied that James Wade. He's left himself double 16 in case Lewis can't find this 86. But he has found the 54. Can he find the 32? Yes, he can. And that brings to an end an absolute classic on the European Tour stage here in Gibraltar. And two players who know each other so well have delivered a brilliant, brilliant encounter that went the distance. And in the end, it was Adrian Lewis who secured it with an average of almost 106 against a man who averaged almost 106 as well. James Wade, the number 11 seed, a man who's had much success on the European Tour stage this year, has fallen at the last 16 hurdle, and the resurgence of Adrian Lewis continues, and he will be involved in the quarterfinals from 7:15 tonight, where he will face either Peter Wright or Chris Dobey. Once again, the standards exceedingly high here on the stage in Gibraltar.
Adrian Lewis,
the crowd draws its breath once again.
One of the best games on the European Tour this year, one of the best games on the European Tour, full stop. What a performance.
It was a massive, I mean, obviously James played really well there, so if we go over the hurdle there, the 1-2-1 there, for make it 5 each, I was thinking, oh dear.
You're going through that game, you kept having these big combination checkouts in front of it. You kept threatening to do it, and if just one had gone, it could have been a little easier.
Well, it's like me ranking, isn't it? I'm there, but I'm there.
106 average for the pair of you there.
Brilliant.
Whoever comes through this quarter of the draw has got to be a very, very strong candidate to go and get the title. You're playing well enough to do it.
I mean, like I said, yeah, Devo, thank you. I mean, like I said there's no mugs, is there? Whoever you play there, you've got to play really well. And, you know, fortunately for me today, I got through the first one. So now it's about progressing now and see if I can win it.
And what a performance, considering how today started, getting locked in a bathroom.
Oh, dear. Yeah, I'll tell you the story now. What happened was this morning I was having a shower. I shut the bathroom door, and I heard a metal object fall on the floor. I thought nothing of it. Obviously, I had a shower, come out. I was locked in the bathroom for half an hour. Yeah, great.
Today did not start well for Adrian Lewis, but it is getting better and better and better. One of the best games you will see on the European Tour this year. Jackpot is through to the quarterfinals. We're going to find out who he faces in a moment.